Let me give you an example here. In the ancient kingdom of Kashi in India, there was a ritual that anyone who wished to be a king would be crowned a king. However, there were only two conditions. Anyone could be the king, but they would have to meet two conditions. The first condition, that person who wished to be the king could be the king only for 5 years. Only for 5 years. And the second condition, after those 5 years complete, that individual, that person, would be chained, handcuffed, and ferried across the river, dividing the opulent, wealthy kingdom and the dense forest, and left for dead with wild beasts and reptiles. That king, at the end of 5 years, would be handcuffed and ferried across the river, left in the forest to die with excruciating pain, because there live the deadly animals like tigers, lions, the hungry lions, and the deadly venomous snakes and other reptiles. All the kings, there would be a lot of people interested initially to be the king, because a king would have great power over its subjects, over its citizens, would have a lot of wealth, prestige, respect, power, and everyone would desire that. But when they would hear the conditions, many of them would retract their interest, but some would be willing, because they would want to live a prosperous life for 5 years, disregarding whatever happens after that. And in the past, what would happen? All the kings would regret their choice to be the king by the 4th year, imagining their eventual tragic fate awaiting them in the 5th year, because they know they would be chained, carried across the river, and left for dead in the dense forest. Here was the king, another king. His 5 years have been passed, and on the final day of the completion of 5th year, he is chained, put on the boat, and is getting ferried across. All the kings of the past, they would have lost their weight, lost their appetite, lost their sleep, because they know their fate. From the 4th year and 5th year, they would have lost so much weight, because they would know that I'm dying very soon. I'm getting killed, brutally killed by these wild animals. Nobody would survive that dense forest. But this king, in the 5th year, he has unusual calmness. He's calm. No stress, no anxiety, no pressure, nothing like that. He even asked the sailor, someone who is riding the boat, boatman, you can call it, or sailor. He asked the sailor, "Today is the last day. I'm still the king. You do not have to handcuff me, at least until we, cross the river. After that, before you Before you drop me off, you can handcuff me again, put the chain around my neck and my leg, whatever. But for now, I'm still your king, so you can take off the handcuffs. The sailor said, "You're not gonna run away, are you? Do you think you can run away? I do not think so." And the sailor has a couple of sentries, a couple of soldiers guarding them, guarding the king, and making sure that the king is left in the forest. With the unusual calmness in the face of that king, the sailor asked, "Oh king, what is wrong with you?" He basically said, "What is wrong with you? You know what is waiting for you on the other side of the river, right?" The king smiles and says, I know. The sailor is astonished. He's surprised beyond thoughts. Like, how could this guy be so calm in such a time of extreme stress and anxiety? The king replied, "There is nothing for me to worry about. There is nothing for me to worry about." The sailor asked him, "You are not trying to run away or do something, right? You are not deceitful. You are not trying to cheat. You are not trying to cheat on us, right?" The king said, No. I'm definitely going to the other side of the river. Don't you worry about it." The sailor asked, "Can you please tell me? I'm so restless to know, how could you be so calm in the state of such an impending danger?" The king said, "There is nothing for me to worry about, because the place I'm going to now is a much better place. The dense forest that you are talking about, the tigers and the lions and the deadly reptiles that you are talking about, no longer exist. Because what I knew the day I became the king was the impending fate, that I would only be the king for 5 years, and if I do not do anything, I would be left for dead. So what I did, I had all the resources. I had the army. I was the most powerful man in that country. So what I did, first day I became the king, I ordered my soldiers in the first year to kill all the wild beasts, tigers, lions, and the reptiles. I killed them all. I had them killed. On the second year, I cut down all the trees with the help of my soldiers. On the third year, what I did, I built roads and buildings. On the fourth year, I sent the most trusted people to that side of the river. So he had everything set up. He had hospitals, he had schools, he had the army, he had everything there. He had his palace built. He had set up everything there. And this is the fifth year, my sailor, where I'm going now. I will be the king. And there, I won't have death waiting for me in a few years. I won't die. a horrific death. I'll be the king so long as I want. That is my kingdom. What previous kings would do, they would enjoy their life. They would enjoy their 4 years being the king, feasting, having as much fun as they could, marrying as many queens, not realizing what was waiting for them. But I didn't make that mistake. What I did, I planned everything minutely, discreetly. And now I'm being the king there so long as I live. So what is there for me to worry about? I'm all relaxed and I'm all joyful. As soon as you drop me off to the other side of the river, there will be hundreds of thousands of people coming with garland in their hands, beating drums in joy as they are getting their king. Dear Sundar Sats, the boatman, the sailor understood that the king used all the tools and resources available to him in order to not just ensure that he didn't end up dying, but also that he lived happily ever after. Such is human life. We are given this limited time in this world and resources, the intellect, rationality, ability to read, ability to write, ability to think, ability to rationalize, ability to contemplate, ability to meditate, ability to pursue what holds so important to us. All these resources are given to us. And if we do not use it, Sundar Sadji, I have seen dying people from their deathbed wishing if they could live another life, they would lead it completely different. They regret what they did in their lives, and they regret what they didn't do in their lives. A lot of Sundar Sats even tell us, I wish, they say, some say Maharaji, some say Guruji, some say Santaji, that's all fine. They say, I wish I could learn about Pranaji a lot. I wish I could hear the glory of Raji Maharaj more than I could. Just like Aurangzeb, the Muslim emperor, regretted the end of his life, knowing that he missed a golden opportunity to meet and submit to Imam Mehdi Pranaji. A lot of people have that faith. They hold their head in contempt. They hold their head in regret. Oh Lord, I had all this life to realize God. I had all this life to find the true and rightful path to God, and I failed. And they tremble in fear what's awaiting them. They are worried about hellfire. Ask the Christians, ask the Muslims, ask the Hindus. They are all worried about hell. And they do Chaurasi Puja when they turn 84. They have the ritualistic ceremony. Before they die, they hand out like the saris and all the materials to their relatives and people, such that they could earn a little bit of merit to avoid hell. Dear Sundar Sats, human life is so precious to be wasted. That is why Mahamati Pranaji keeps telling us, keeps reminding us that this is not our home. This is not our place. This is not the world where we'll find ourselves in forever. We have to go somewhere. If we have to go somewhere, why not set our course already? Why not go to a place that is welcoming, Why not find someone who respects us? Why not end up somewhere where we would have no fear of consequences? Dear Sundar Saji, we are a part of this Beerat discourse. We are a part of this cosmic understanding because we are trying to understand that true home, that welcoming group of consorts, our Sakhis, our friends in Paramdham. The Raji Maharaj is welcoming us with his both arms. He wants us there. As he says, Dekho kona ave dauda arasame leke ishka kashan. He is awaiting for our arrival. He is awaiting when we cry. He is awaiting when we find him. He is awaiting when we disregard everything that is meaningless and value what we are entitled to. Dear Sundar Saji, such is the sanctity of human life.